Configure the IP addresses. To configure IP addresses, perform the following steps. Access the Ethernet Properties dialog box. Click Internet Protocol version 4 and then click the Properties window button. The Internet Protocol version 4 Properties dialog box opens. Write down the current settings if there are any, so you can return the computer to these settings at the end of the exercise. By default, the obtain an IP address automatically obtains DNS server address. Automatically radio buttons are enabled, as shown in figure 1.11. That means that the network adapter will attempt to get all its IP information from a DHCP server or other device like a SOHO, small office, small home office, 4-port router. However, we want to configure the adapter statically, so let's continue on. Figure 1.11, the Internet Protocol version 4 property dialogs box. Click the use the following IP address radio button. This enables the other fields so you can type in the IP information. Enter the following. For the IP address, enter 192.168.1.1. For the subnet mask, enter 255.255.255.0. Examining local area networks, devices, and data transfer. Leave the default gateway and the preferred DNS server fields blank. The default gateway is needed too if you need to communicate with remote computers. The DNS is needed if you need to perform a name resolution. Names to IP addresses. When you are finished, it should look like figure 1.12. If you have other computers, try configuring the IP addresses as well. The host portion of the IP should send once for each computer, 1, 2, 3, and so forth and so on. Figure 1.12, the Internet Protocol version 4 properties dialog box configured statically. If you are working with others, as you complete this exercise, each person should enter a different IP address. For example, the first person should enter 192.168.1.1. The second person should enter 192.168.1.1.2, and so on. This avoids any possible IP conflicts. Click OK, then in the Ethernet Properties dialog box, click OK. This completes and binds the configuration to the network adapter. Test the configuration. We will do this in two ways. First with the ipconfig command, and second with the ping command. Open the command prompt window. Do this by pressing the Windows R keys and typing CMD in the open field. In the command prompt window, we type ipconfig. The results should look similar to figure 1.13. Notice the IPv4, IP version 4 address field in the results. And the IP address that is listed, which should be the IP address you configured previously. If not, go back and check your Internet Protocol Properties dialog box. ipconfig results in the command prompt window. Ping a computer on the same 192.168.1 network. If there are no other computers, ping your own IP address. For example, type the following command, ping 192.168.1.1. This command sends requests out to the other IP address. If the other computer is running and configured properly, it should reply back a positive ping with local similar to figure 1.14, where false replies are received by the pinging computer. Examining local area networks, devices, and data transfer. Figure 1.14, ping results in the command prompt window. If you do not receive replies, but do receive another message, for example, request timed out, check the IP configuration again, and check to ensure that the computer you are trying to ping is configured properly. In addition, make sure that the computers are wired to the network. You can also ping your own computer by way of the loopback address, also known as the local loopback. Every Windows computer automatically gets this address. It is 127.0.0.1. This is in addition to the logical address that you are assigned earlier. Try the command ping loopback and check out the results you get. You can also try ping localhost and ping 127.0.0.1. Regardless, you should get results from 127.0.0.1. When pinging this address, no network traffic is incurred, because the network adapter is really just looping the ping back to the OS. It never places any packets onto the network, so this is a solid way to test if TCP/IP is installed correctly to a network adapter. Even if you aren't physically connected to the network, when you are finished, return the computer back to its regular IP settings. You'll learn more about the Internet Protocol in Lesson 4. Lesson 1, Understanding Local Area Networking. Identifying types of LANs. There are several types of local area networks that the computer can connect to. An organization must make a choice as to whether it will have wired connections, wireless connections, or a mix of the two. In addition, it is also possible to have virtual LANs. You should know these types of LANs for the exam. Certification ready. What is the first difference between a wired LAN and a wireless LAN? Objective 1.2. The first and most common type of LAN is the wired LAN. Computers and other devices are wired together by way of copper-based twisted pair cables. These cables have RJ45 plugs on each end, making the actual connection to RJ45 ports that reside on the computer's network adapter, on the hubs, switches, or routers. Of course, there will probably be some other cabling equipment in between each other, but this equipment is covered in more depth in Lesson 3. Figure 1.15 gives yet another diagram, but this time it's 3 LAN connected together by a router. Some new devices appear in this figure. A firewall which protects the LAN or LANs from the internet, and a supercomputer which occupies its own little LAN. Figure 1.15 wired LAN diagram. Firewall, supercomputer. Examining local area networks, devices, and data transfer. Generally, the connections from the PCs to their switch will be either 100 megabits per second or 100 gigabits per second. Whatever speed you decide to use must be supported by each port of the switch and by each of the computers. In this diagram, they are wired to the switch to accomplish gigabit network speeds. The cables used would have to be category 5 or greater. More details on the types of cabling are covered in Lesson 3. However, the connections from the server farm to the switch in the upper left of the figure and the supercomputer to its switch should be faster than your average PC connection. So if the PCs on the LAN are connecting at 100 megabits per second, the servers might be better off connecting at 1 gigabit per second. Or if the PCs are connecting at 1 gigabit per second, the servers would connect at 10 gigabits per second. High-speed connections should also be made between the 3 switches and the router. Now we are looking at a more accurate representation of a network setup or fixtures company needs from the original scenario. But just wait, the network documentation is going to get much more detailed. After all, we are only in Lesson 1. Historically, wired networks are much faster than wireless networks, but now it is by a much smaller margin due to the fact that wireless networking technology has made giant leaps and bounds over the past decade or so. A wireless local area network, WLAN, has many advantages, the most standout of which is the ability to roam. A person with a laptop, handheld computer, or PDA, or another like device can work from anywhere. However, because wireless LANs can pose additional security problems, some companies have opted not to use them in their many offices, but with advancements in security, including developments in encryption, wireless is now more popular than ever. Figure 1.16 illustrates some wireless devices. Figure 1.16 wireless LAN diagram, smartphone, wireless access point, PDA, laptop, tablet, computer. The wireless access points, WAP, acts as the central connecting device for the network. But now, one of the advantages is that the network can consist of more types of devices, including smartphones, PDAs, tablet computers, and laptops. Of course, PCs and laptops equipped with wireless network adapters will be able to connect to this network as well.